It's a road game for the Grizzlies, and they're facing an interconference matchup in today's game. Bringing you some fun on a Monday night, it's the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan, joined by Chris Webber and Greg Anthony. David Aldridge is our sideline reporter. Well, they're still compensating for the loss of Rudy Gay, Clark.
Yeah, I hear you, Kevin. But really, it's an issue for both teams with regard to the injury situation. So it's a matter of which team can rise up and show the fortitude necessary to play through those injuries and still come out on top.
Yeah, but we've all played it and been a part of it, and this goes to the whole next man up theory. We'll see which team has the depth needed to prosper in the face of adversity.
And as things get ready to roll, let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's on the sideline. David?
Hey, Kevin. Now, we know the NBA is a tight-knit fraternity, and DJ has established himself among the other players. He's become friends with a lot of guys around the league, bonding through their shared love of music. DJ told me very few people in the world go through what we go through, so it's easy to bond with all the guys. Now, with that said, DJ mentioned it is still all business.
Thanks as always, David. And Greg, you figure personality like DJ's would be welcomed by the rest of the players in the NBA. Well, as we go deeper into the season, we see some teams, Chris, really start to shuffle things around with injuries. And what's it like playing on a team that is dealing with a lot of players that are injured?
It's frustrating. You don't know how much confidence to have in your team. You don't know what to believe in, what not to believe in. Rehabilitation is one of the most frustrating parts of playing in the game because it's boring, it's monotonous. You just continue to do the same thing every day. You start to feel kind of disconnected from your team, and you kind of start feeling down and bad. And so that feeling can become contagious on a team with injuries because you really honestly know that there's nothing else you can do but wait to heal. And so that's really frustrating. So being on a team with a lot of players injured, it's just frustrating. The only thing you can do is to encourage those players that are getting playing time to use this time to improve their game so that when everyone does come back, hopefully some good will come out of it.
And the starting group for the Grizzlies. We've got Baldwin. Davis is out there with Tyreke Evans. Then it's Marc Gasol. And it's Daniels in at the 2. That one is no good. And Chris, you played during an era against a team that many consider the greatest of all time, that 96 Chicago Bulls team with Jordan and Pippen and a great roster. Just thinking back to that team during that second three-peat, what was it like when you were going up against that Bulls team?
It's so tough to play against that team. Jordan is arguably the best player that's ever, laced them up, and Pippen was so tough offensively and rebounding. Rodman as well on the boards, and then you had guys in a system that was just really too much. It's hard to say. Of course, in my opinion, having played against them, they're the best team of all time. But Bill Russell once told me, ghosts can't play, so don't get caught up in comparing eras that you really can't prove it. So, of course, they're the best of all time to me, but it's fun watching these young kids play today.
On defense, the Bulls, following the basket by Marc Gasol, controls the rebound and puts it back up and in.
Oh, great timing. He is one tough customer on that offensive glass.
It's like he has a sixth sense of where that rebound is going. Now, here's Markkanen. He's coming off a 10-point game against the Cavaliers in Cleveland.
And I tell you what, Markkanen has already mastered the art of the bank shot. Loves getting it up there and knocking that one down. You have got to be in his space if you want to disrupt his rhythm.
Evans, good.
That mid-range jumper is just another one of his weapons.
For Chicago, they've gone 2 of 3 here to start out the game. Payne kicks to Felicio. Warren the pass to the great one. Here's the screen. That shot, no good. And Memphis the other way now. Defeated by the Pacers in their last game, they'll try to put that one behind them.
And really, man, they played their hearts out. Missed a couple opportunities down the stretch, and that was the difference.
Absolutely right, Greg. That's all it takes. A play here, a play there, a detail that isn't accounted for, it stings.
Tyreke Evans, the 4th pick back in 2009, won Rookie of the Year.
Averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists right off the bat. And it's been about the injuries in terms of what's held him back. If he can stay healthy, and that's a big if, the talent is obvious.
First free throw is good. And both free throws good for Tyreke Evans. Here's the great one. He's coming off a 40-point game against Cleveland. And he dunks it down.
And the one-hand slam just looks so pretty when it's in his hand and he's the one doing the slam.
Agreed. He is smooth as silk, even on a power finish.
That is just a careless turnover. You've got to be smarter in those exchanges.
For Chicago, they've gone 3 of 5 shooting the ball so far. The feed to Payne. Here's the great one. His average of about 35.5 points a game is pretty astounding, but one that he's worked very hard for. There's the pick. And he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2.
No, I tell you what, he earned his money on that foul.
This is his second trip to the line in this one.
And he buried a bunch of shots from the stripe in that last game.
That free throw good from the great one. McDermott's checked in for Daniels. Both free throws good from the great one. Memphis trailing here. Davis in the corner. Felicio with a rebound.
Not quite airtight defense right there, but his release was a little bit off on the jumper.
Here's the screen. Here's the great one. He's got 5. Evans with the steal. Here we go, one-on-one. Here's Baldwin, and it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Wow, he got whacked on that one. Shouldn't be much debate there.
The Grizzlies shooting their 3rd and 4th free throw attempts of the game.
Now, gentlemen, 2 shots. 2 shots.
And he makes the first. The Bulls making a switch here. Wells is checked in. So after making the first, he goes 1 for 2.
Nice. Tying it up, though a little disappointed that he couldn't give him the lead.
Just over 3.5 minutes gone here in the first. And looking back at last season, here's a look at the 3-point and 2-point shot attempt averages for Memphis.
And the 3-point shot was a huge part of their game plan. When it was falling, it made them very hard to defend. Opponents were stretched out all over the place.
That one is off.
Well, probably a little draft in the arena tonight. He's the last guy you expect to miss the mark by that much.
Absolutely.
An unusually ugly trip to the line for him. Rarely do you see that.
And some players, you just kind of know that they'll end up in coaching. Just the way they approach the game and go about themselves. Chris, having played Hoiberg during your career, did you ever see him becoming a head coach?
Well, it's not as easy to tell your opponents versus your teammates. Didn't have a really close relationship with them. Didn't know or his expectations, never played with them. So, no, I never saw it coming.
Chicago trailing here. Here's the great one. He's got 5, and it's thrown down hard with both hands.
Yeah, just solid work on the back end of that play.
Yep, you're right. Finished hard with 2 hands on that stuff. Here's Baldwin. He's coming off a 10-point game against Indiana.
And he also drew a lot of fouls, forcing the defense to react to his aggressive style of play.
And it's Evans missing. For Chicago, they've gotten 4 of 6 field goal attempts to drop in the first quarter. Warren, and he drops in the layup off the glass. Warren's got his first points of the game.
Absolutely fearless. I mean, a nice subtle adjustment there going up against length.
Well, this is just another case where being aggressive wins out.
Good-looking screen by Gasol. And it's Evans missing.
Well, that's the shot they're looking for. A clean three-pointer. Just can't get it to go.
Here's the great one. Unloads from 9, and that one hits back iron. And it's the Grizzlies with the ball, trailing by 2. This is their first chance to take a look at the Bulls this season.
Yeah, faced off twice last season, and it was a split between the two teams.
And both clubs really building for the future right now, trying to pull themselves out of the doldrums, badly needing wins.
Here's what Chicago's going with right now. Lopez, he's checked in for Felicio. Portis comes in for Markkanen, and it's Valentine in for T.J. Warren. And again, Memphis no good.
Hey, look, that's what they want. The ball is in his hands in the post. Just didn't have the touch that time.
Evans outside. Passes it to Baldwin. Feeds to McDermott. Memphis moving it around. Here's Baines. Lopez covering. And Baines kicks to McDermott. Over to the wing. The second chance effort. And there's Lowry. That's good on the assist by McDermott. Lowry's got his first 2 points of the night.
And when he squares up, his height makes him a tough assignment.
Yeah, even when you get a hand up, it's hard to really affect his shot.
Evans outside. Plenty of space. And the shot is good, dropping in off the front of the rim. Evans has got 10.
This is an amazing run he's on. It's like he's been the only guy on the floor this quarter.
Here's the great one. He's got 7. And Baines pulls it down.
He keeps battling, but so far this quarter, he hasn't been able to get it going.
And fouled on the shot, so the bucket counts and a chance for one more here.
Always like seeing Evans.
And it's the Bulls with the ball. 4-point game. Tough loss coming against Cleveland in their last game played.
Yeah, and in a hostile environment, they did not rise to the occasion, especially on the defensive side.
Yeah, they allowed way too many easy buckets. I thought they lacked toughness and energy all night.
Warren is out there with Markkanen. Then there's Wells. Then there's the great one. And it's Felicio in at the center. That's the 5 out there for the Bulls. The Bulls have made 7 free throws and missed 3 in this game. Well, Chris, the NBA game is a game of superstition. And even if you aren't superstitious, you still get into the habit of a routine. So what was your pregame routine that you had during your career, something that was there every night with you before a game?
Well, about superstitions, Kev, I had one superstition, and it might sound weird, but it was to not have a superstition. So I'm a guy that can get caught up in routine and things like that. So if I played a great game and I had something to eat, I wouldn't eat the same thing on purpose because I didn't want the superstition to control me. I wanted if for some reason I couldn't have the food, if for some reason I got to the game late, I never wanted that to be in my head. And so my thing was, since early in high school, I tried not to have a superstition. But in saying that, you do have a routine. And my routine as I got older was, before I get to the arena, I'd read the notes of the game and all that good stuff, and I'd just sit in the hot tub with my headphones on. I figured that was the best way to get warm at an older age, and that's really the only thing I can remember relying on before a game, and that was in my older years.
Good story. Good story. On the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Thanks, Kevin. The great one in that last game against the Cavaliers got it done. He scored 40 points, and there weren't too many shots that didn't fall. He was efficient from the field. His numbers were off the charts. He was unguardable, and he knew it, and he took advantage of it. Kevin, back to you.
All right, David, thank you, guys. Could you believe that performance? Wow.
I mean, it was really something to see. I mean, he showed everybody just how special he is when he is on his game.
Oh, yeah. Once he got him on the ropes, he never let them off the hook. It was full-speed energy basketball at its greatest.
Got it. Good job in the low post. The Great Ones got 8 points here in this quarter.
Yeah, and they're starting to warm up from the field this quarter.
Baldwin kicks to Gasol. That's short off the rim.
Yeah, really frustrating right now. They just can't seem to stem the tide here.
Yeah, going up against a big run, trying to mount one of your own, I mean, it's exhausting and takes a tremendous amount of energy here.
Here's the Great One. They lead by 6, their biggest margin. 6 on the shot clock. And now here comes Daniels, leading the break. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. This is his first chance at the line tonight. That free throw good from Daniels. No good on the second free throw. Now the Bulls with it. They're on a 10-1 run. Here's the Great One. The Grizzlies pull it in.
That type of defense doesn't always get it done, but it does the job that time.
Baldwin the pass to Daniels. Davis kicks to Baldwin. At the top of the key, McDermott. Here's Daniels. Sinks the triple. Daniels has got 10.
And he's clearly led the way offensively. The question is, can they ride him and get back into it?
Wells kicks to Felicio. And the pass to the Great One. Makes it off the glass. 17 points in the game.
Playing big, willing to go toe-to-toe against a guy who towers over him.
Well, it's just an attitude, a way of life. You can't let people see you back down, or they take it as a sign of weakness and expect that treatment every time.
Here is Davis after the made shot from the Great One. Gasol a screen. Here's Daniels. That 3 off the mark. Chicago leading by 4. There's 1:54 left in the first half of basketball. Taking high percentage shots has been this group's specialty. On your screen now are this month's field goal percentage leaders. Well, you look at the Great One, a great player, second in the league.
It would be hard to imagine him shooting the ball much better than he has. He has been on fire. No wasted trips at all. They're taking care of business at the line.
And didn't shoot it all that well from the line in the first quarter. Doing a much better job now in the second, up over 80%.
Here is Daniels. 10 points for him. Kicks it to McDermott. Gasol, a screen on Warren. Outside Gasol. And it's off from three-point range.
Yeah, and a dangerous trend here as they're starting to live and die with outside jumpers.
And in today's NBA, how about the value in having a guy at the center who has the versatility and the skill set of a Marc Gasol? With his passing and shooting, and he becomes a great zone buster for any team.
And Marc Gasol becoming more aggressive, looking for his own offense.
And I thought at times in the past he was unselfish to a fault. His teammates egged him on, told him, you're the best center in the game, go out there and dominate. And now it seems like he's becoming more comfortable in his skin.
Here's the Great One. He's got 19. And the powerful one-handed slam.
And a sturdy screen set for him that time. And he doesn't fool around, just straight to the rim for the finish.
No way for his man to get around that one. That's for sure.
You're right. They are precise in how they ran that play. Exceptional timing. That's all good stuff.
Here's Gasol. Hits the target from 18 feet. Gasol's got his second basket of the night.
And through the years, he's become very confident in that shot. Gasol's almost better from mid-range than he is in tight. That's a great weapon for a 7-footer to have.
No good from the Great One. The Grizzlies trail by 4.
If they increase the tempo, they got a chance at a 2-for-1.
Yeah, it's a combination of urgency and efficiency. Let's see how they execute.
Chicago's gone 2 of 4 from three-point range so far in the second quarter. 1 second separating the shot clock and game clock. And so he draws the foul on the shot, a trip to the line to shoot 2. And the free throw stats for him, 9 of 12, and getting to the line on a regular basis. That's good from the great one. So it's both teams making substitutions here. That one misses, so he goes 1 for 2. Here's Baldwin. At the elbow, it's Gasol. Charity stripe shot. He can't hit that time. It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. Coach, what made the difference over the course of the first half to get that momentum change in your favor?
Well, we finally buckled down and started getting some stops. We've done a poor job making them feel us. We've got to make it more uncomfortable out there on the floor.
Defensive activity leads to offensive results. Thanks, Coach. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks so much, David, and we'll step away briefly, but get you right back out here for the start of the third quarter after this break. We have a close ball game on our hands as we get set for the second half of basketball. It's been one outstanding game from the great one.
His points production thus far off the charts. It's only been 2 quarters. Just a great effort for him for the entire half.
Yeah, right. I mean, the defense hasn't had an answer for this guy yet. Just too skilled, too driven thus far.
Well, we've got a moment. Let's set the floor. Brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up for the second half. So on the floor for Memphis, Marc Gasol is out there with Davis. Then there's Tyreke Evans, and it's Daniels in at the 2. That free throw good from the great one. Well, we always talk about how different eras of the NBA had different feels and how the game was called and how the game was played. Chris, what is the biggest change you have seen to the game since your era?
2 changes. One, you can't hand check, and that's really physical. That used to wear you down, take you out the game, and that stopped the freedom of movement. And that, along with playing the zone, where you can't just guard a guy and have to stay in your area. Those are 2 big changes because it really helped the offense. And so we want to see a lot of scoring, but today it's not easier to score because these guys have wonderful skill sets, but the game makes it easier to score because of the rules, because you can get to the line so many times. Because before a hand check, you couldn't get to the free throw line if a guy pushed you out of bounds almost, because the game was expected to be physical.
Right. That free throw good from the great one. The Grizzlies trail by 9. Baldwin the pass to Gasol. On the wing, Evans. Baseline try. Markkanen pulls it in. Markkanen's got his 7th rebound here tonight.
They haven't gotten their legs back. Just 1 for 4 to start the second half.
And just tacks a few more points onto their lead with the tomahawk.
That's bringing it down hard. Baldwin kicks to Gasol. The shot missing. Nice D from the great one.
Ooh, and this is turning into a slow start here in the second half. Seems like they left that offense in the locker room.
And Markkanen is skilled at drawing fouls once he establishes position. Uses that height to get the defense to commit.
This is his first free throw of the game.
This season, 88% on the line, so he has been in a comfort zone.
And the second free throw, good.
And Markkanen is a perfect candidate for that stretch 4. Outstanding at pulling the trigger from deep and not afraid to go inside and bang with the other bigs.
And here's Evans outside. That doesn't go either for Evans.
Look, it would be a huge boost for them if he could start knocking these down.
Warren the pass to the great one.
That athletic.
Yeah.
Wow. Jumped out of the gym.
And that monster lead continues to grow. They are just piling it on now.
Well, give the coach a little credit. It's been some great play calling. Each guy doing his part. This is what you're hoping to achieve.
Bobby Portis is checked in for Markkanen. The Grizzlies trail by 14. And here's Evans. 12 points for him. Shot to stop the run. Basket is good, and he'll get a chance for one more at the free throw line.
And how about the efficiency Evans has shown in the paint? Once he's got his position, he's looking to score.
Chicago leading by 11. Just under 2.5 minutes into the third quarter now. They set the pick. Here's the great one. He has 30. No good that time. And it's Memphis on the break. Evans with it. Now guarded by the great one. Pass to Baldwin. It's hauled in by the Bulls. Felicio's got 4 rebounds now tonight. Warren dishes to Payne. Clock keeps going. 3 minutes into the second half now.
The D doing everything they can to cut him off on his way to the hoop.
Baldwin kicks to Davis. Takes the assist and lays it in. Picked out the pass nicely. Davis has got his 3rd basket of the night. Here's the great one. He's covered by Daniels. The shot's good from the great one.
They're finding lanes to the hoop now with consistency. 5 buckets in a row from the paint.
Baldwin the pass to Gasol. On the wing, Evans. Steps back and fires. Second shot opportunity. And count it. He'll head to the line with a chance to make it 3.
And he knows how to make good use of his size in that low block. And Gasol's inside game is very refined. There's a smoothness to how he approaches it.
And the Bulls making a change here. Holiday's checked in. Aaron Baines, he's checked in for Memphis. Here's the great one. 32 points in the game. Nice shot by Portis.
Yeah, 3 consecutive field goals have come right at the rim. The D had better start buckling down.
Evans kicks to Gasol. 14 feet away. Rebounded by the great one. The great one's got his 5th rebound in this one. Shoots from 12. And out of bounds as the Grizzlies gain possession.
Cheap turnover. You got to make sure your target's ready for the pass before you let it go.
Lopez, he's checked in for Chicago. And so it's Chicago, rolling along with a 27-point lead as we wrap up the quarter. And it's been their rugged defense setting the tone. We come back right after this. And we're getting underway here in the fourth quarter. The scoreboard tells the story in this matchup, but we'll see how much things change up here. Now Brooks. Payne out there with the great one. Then there's Markkanen. Then there's Warren, and it's Felicio in at the center, locking down the middle. That's the 5 out there for the Bulls. And something we see now in the modern NBA, Chris, is that players will try and recruit other players in free agency, sometimes almost leading up to free agency. How often do you think that happens now, and how is that, say, different from when you played?
It's a lot different from when I played. I think guys wanted to play together, but we did not recruit or try to play together with each other because of the way that the rules were in collective bargaining and because the way the game was at that time. At that time, even if you had a friend that was your very close friend off the court, you wanted to beat him for bragging rights on the court. Back then, it was more of, can my team beat your team? Not can we play together. I tell you what, with friends that I had in the league at that time, that would have been pretty cool to play with some of my friends that I think were great players. But I just think it's just been a line in the sand. It's just changed. I think a lot of it's changed because we're playing basketball at younger ages. Guys are playing and traveling the country and know each other from ages 10, 11, and 12. So they have honest, genuine friendships and really want to play together. And so I don't really think it's a problem. But it's interesting watching these super teams teams and how all of this is developing. It definitely didn't happen in my day, and I'm just now, I won't say getting used to it, but I'm just now recognizing that, man, it's okay to play with your friends, I guess.
Here's the great one. He's covered by Daniels. That'll go on McDermott. That's foul number 2 for him.
You know what? You've got to always be in control of your emotions.
Here's the great one. Lays it up off the glass. The great one's got 34.
Strong work for him at the offensive end, helping them to maintain that lead.
The baseline J, and he drops that one in. And it's 8 points for Davis.
Man, he has an excellent mid-range game. Surprising how much room he had to operate on that play.
Here's the great one. Grizzlies with the rebound. Baldwin's got 3 rebounds now in this one. And we're around 2 minutes into the fourth quarter here. At the elbow, it's Gasol. Takes it from 10, and he makes that one.
He's feeling it this half. Total turnaround after a rough first half.
The Bulls leading by 22. Here's the great one. And that one is stuffed right through.
That is ferocious.
You said it. That was ferocious. Baldwin kicks to McDermott. Outside, Davis. Here's Daniels. And again, it's Memphis with the 3.
You know, maybe he's not one of the elite sharpshooters, but even still, that's not a shot the D can afford to give.
Look at this. I like this. Team basketball. Keeping the ball moving till they find the right shot.
We're in the final quarter of play here. 3 minutes in. Baldwin kicks to Gasol. Pass to Baldwin. There's the screen. Davis sets a screen. Davis with a screen on Warren. Here's Daniels. Connects from three-point range. Daniels has got a pair of threes here in the fourth quarter for the Grizzlies. And we're about 3.5 minutes into the fourth quarter. Here's the great one. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up. And Chris, as your career progressed, your free throw shooting percentage jumped up about 20 points higher than when you started. That's not the case for a lot of players. Just how hard is it for a big man to improve their free throw shooting throughout their career?
Okay, that's probably one of the things I'm proudest of is that I have the record for going from worst to that best improvement. And I worked out hard. I had a shooting coach, Buzz. We worked out every summer. I would take him everywhere with me, Kev. I mean,
really?
I would take this guy to the club, to church, to a restaurant, to he'd have to wait outside the bathroom. Everywhere I went that summer, I wanted him, with me because you have to focus and concentrate on it. You think about it, you have to change not only your mental habits, your repetition, but your thought process. So step 1 is the figuring out that shot. Step 2 is how many repetitions. Step 3 is can you get that in game time atmosphere, and you really can't unless you punish yourself in the summer with running. So if you have to do a suicide every one you miss, or it just was just so much work and intensity on it because you have to build up so much trust, because the reason why guys shoot bad free throws, they don't trust it. They shoot a different way every time, and it was fun becoming better at that. But that's probably one of the toughest things I've ever done was get better at shooting free throws because the concentration and the time allowed it to try to improve.
And so here's Memphis. After the miss from the great one, good-looking screen by Gasol. Off the pick. And that one's good. Daniels has got 8 points in the quarter.
And he's really shot the ball well, but it hasn't been contagious.
Payne passes to the great one. Rejected by Gasol, but he stays with it. Here's the great one. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. Daniels. And so he's picked up his final foul, and he will sit for the rest of this game. Some changes for Memphis. Tyreek Evans is checked in for McDermott, and Chandler Parsons in for Daniels. And we've seen a few players come into the NBA through different paths, either playing overseas for a year or spending time in the D League, now known as the G League. Chris, Do you think that these alternative paths to the NBA will ever be as common as the standard collegiate path to the NBA?
Well, I think it can be only because there's such an international presence in the game and that now you're starting to find players all over. And the great thing about the NBA is it doesn't matter where you come from. It just matters what type of skill set that you have. So I can see it being other paths to the NBA, but the NCAA is always going to be one in the fact that guys want to play for their state teams, and that's always going to be fun to watch. But thank God for basketball fans and athletes, there's a lot of paths to the NBA, which is the ultimate if you want to play basketball.
Absolutely.
They've shown some strength in the paint today. Their work on the boards has been impressive.
Here's the great one. Dishes to Payne. Clock at 6. Here's the great one. The wing jumper off target. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Bulls will take it. And it's never too early to start looking at our contenders for this year's dunk contest. There's no doubt it'll be a terrific showdown of some of the game's best athletes.
And it seems like each year the bar keeps getting set higher. I mean, more props, crazier concepts to the competition, the level of dunks. I think this is going to be a good one.
Well, you look at the great one, and I know he'd like to make a move up in the consideration. He's got all the athleticism you hope for from a dunk contest participant.
He sure does. Lots of competition, though, in the running this year to get that big invite.
And as always, we'll keep the updates coming in as we get closer to All-Star Weekend. One thing we already know, there are some great players pulling in votes so far.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to say that this is going to be one of those dunk contests that everybody's going to be tuning into.
And now let's present our Jordan Player of the Game, the Great One.
And it's been a ridiculous performance in the best sense possible. I mean, everything about his game has been working. And no matter what they've thrown at him, he's had the answer.
He'd finally had enough of their losing streak, and it's going to take something special to regain some kind of momentum. And his effort has been very special tonight. Here's Baldwin. Outside Gasol. Offensive rebound, Evans. And the rebound paying off as they pick up 2 on the second chance bucket right there.
And how about the confidence from Evans? He's feeling like no one can stop him playing with a ton of heart.
Here's the great one. The shot by Markkanen, nobody around. Good on the three-point shot.
And piling on to that big lead, we know he has the range late on the defensive reaction.
I mean, yeah, you can't break down. Not now. Defensively, at this point, I mean, you're already too far in the hole.
It's stolen. Here's the great one, covered by Parsons. Payne passes to the great one. 1:51 left in the fourth quarter. 6 to shoot. Unable to get that one. And Memphis the other way now. Here's Parsons. He drains the quick shot. Parsons got 5 points now this quarter. Chicago leading by 18. Here's the great one. Lays it up off the glass.
And I love the momentum he's building. Last game, he was just as dominant.
And defensively, you know he's feeling good right now. And as the opposing team, you better adjust your scheme accordingly.
Here's Parsons after the made shot from the great one. Gasol kicks to Lowry. Down to 5 on the shot clock. And the Grizzlies tack on 2 more.
And this is what they wanted. I mean, to announce their presence in this matchup with authority, very decisive. It can definitely be considered a statement win for Chicago.
And it may be a comfortable win for him, but, they had to weather a few storms along the way, and that's all part of the story.
Yeah, Kevin, this was by no means the runaway that it might appear to be. It was a scrappy performance, though, all the way through.
And so looking at their number, this will be win number 22 on the year.
And so they'll take the first game of the season series, a team they'll only see twice. They're certainly happy to start it off with a win.
The one player that really stands out, of course, in this one, it was a dazzling game for the Great One.
He was too much for them to deal with tonight, plain and simple. They tried all sorts of ways to contain him, and nothing worked.
And that one is hammered home.
I'll tell you what, the energy in this arena, you can feel it.
Well, a well-earned victory, feeding off the energy of this hometown crowd really all night.
5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Let's go. And he gets that one to go off the front iron.
And, guys, you got to ask, where was this effort when it mattered? The game's over now.
Oh, yeah, this is a nice run here, but too little too late. And deep down, I think they know it.
Goes up and lays it nice and easy. The Great One's got 48.
And leaving. Nothing to chance here on this game-clinching run.
Yeah, that offense shifted into high gear. I love the attack mindset.
And so Chicago takes this one, and by a big margin. It was the tale of two teams tonight, one that...
This pimping, it's a luxurious business. A lot of people ain't aware of that. But I'm here to let you know, man. Pimping game is strong, baby. And it's gonna be here forever. Keep your mind on them pimping. I'm a P-I-M-P pimp. I'm a pimp. I'm a P-I-M-P pimp. I was born to pimp. I'm so pimpalicious.